Hello, PruvIt Nation, and welcome to Ask a Specialist. My name is Dr. Heather Carden, and I am one of your nutrition specialists for PruvIt. I come to you live every Wednesday at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time to help you or help answer your questions about ketones, Keto OS, and PruvIt. So we're just going to wait a few minutes while people jump on here, and know that you can have a couple minutes here to share this with your friends. Let them know that we're going live now, so if they have questions about keto cream, Keto OS, PruvIt, ketones, any of those type of questions, we are here to help you answer those questions. I want to thank PruvIt as always for putting education at the top of their priority. I'm here every Wednesday for education purposes to teach you more about ketones, exogenous ketones, ketosis, and the products that PruvIt makes. So again, want to give a big shout out to PruvIt for having me here every Wednesday and really focusing on education not only every Wednesday but also at the Keto Academy and many other tools we have on the website. So we're just going to get started here pretty quickly till the questions start coming in. I've been a healthcare practitioner for almost 20 years in Overland Park, Kansas. I have taught a low-carb, high-fat, ketogenic diet for almost 20 years of my practice. I've used the ketogenic diet as an adjunctive therapy or tool to help people get a handle or help them on their healthcare journey. So welcome everyone to the call here. We're just going to start right off the back with what are ketones and why are we talking about it now? Ketones are simply a byproduct of fat metabolism. I know we hear a lot about glucose and insulin because we've been living a diet that's high in carbohydrates and proteins. When we eat carbohydrates and proteins, our body uses insulin and breaks it down, and we use glucose for fuel. We know that ketones are a far superior source of fuel, and for the first time ever, we can drink them exogenously. We've actually studied ketones for almost 100 years. There's a lot of clinical data about ketones and how they act or perform in our bodies. We've been studying exogenous ketones, which means outside the body, for almost 3 decades. On a true ketogenic diet, our body actually has to get into almost a starvation state or really burn all the stored glucose so we can use ketones for fuel. Sometimes that can take weeks or days just for that to happen, and endogenous ketones are where our liver actually makes those once we're in a really low carbohydrate state. But now we can get all the amazing benefits of ketones in simply drinking a white powder. So why would I want to have ketones in my body, or what's the big deal? Why is over 10 million people been experiencing ketones? Well, ketones are an amazing source of fuel. They provide 30% more oxygen, so it's a better energy source. They actually provide 3 more ATP if you're a biochemist or know how that cycle works, so you're getting more energy out of ketones than we get out of glucose. We also know that they're amazing signalers for the brain, so they help with sleep, they help with focus, they help with appetite control, they help with mood control, because we know that our brains are over 60% fat. Ketones are a byproduct of fat metabolism, so when we're putting fat in our body or ketones in our body, they actually help signal our brain so our brains act at a more optimal level, which means decrease of cravings, better satiety, better sleep, better focus. So those are amazing things that I know I hear every day in my clinic that people struggle with. They struggle with fatigue, they struggle with focus, they struggle with energy. On the other hand, ketones actually can help people lose fat. It is not a weight loss supplement, because when we talk about weight loss, we're talking about muscle and water and fat. Fat loss is exactly that, fat loss. Ketones actually preserve muscles when we put them in our body, so we do not lose lean muscle mass. We're using ketones for fuel or on a ketogenic or low-carb diet, and our body can get a better body composition or a more optimal composition to help us move forward on our healthcare journey. So I'm just going to start right off the bat here with questions, and if you've been here before, know that I kind of rapid fire these questions to get as many answered as I can. And at the very end, I will go through all of the products that PruvIt has and help you help yourself and others on a guide towards optimal state of health. So hello to everyone around the globe. Thank you for being here from all over different states and different countries. So number one question. Who is Keto OS safe for? Keto OS is safe for everyone, womb to tomb, because we know babies are born in ketosis. We know that as we age, our body actually loses the ability to uptake glucose in our brain for fuel, and it can still uptake ketones. So it is safe for everyone, womb to tomb. Jennifer's asking, can ketones affect the pancreas negatively? Jennifer, we're talking about exogenous ketones, which means we simply open up the Keto OS powder, we put it in water and drink it. We don't need any pancreatic enzymes. There's no insulin release. You don't need gallbladder support. We don't need liver support. We simply drink it in a powdered form, put it in water. It's water soluble, so it gets directly into our bloodstream. So with exogenous ketones, we don't need to worry about any other type of gallbladder, liver, or pancreas support. So again, looking here to answer a couple more questions. I know I always talk super fast, so I'm going to scroll down. Oops. My daughter wears, see. So Grant's asking, I have someone with an allergic reaction. So I love you answer that question. Grant, it's actually flavored with essential oils. So there are no artificial flavorings or colorings in any of the Keto OS products. They are all gluten-free, soy-free, mushroom-free, and nut-free. So hopefully that helps answer your question. There's no artificial dyes or artificial flavoring. Robert, there's a lot of great information when you look up autism and ketones. So yes, absolutely. There's documented clinical research using a ketogenic diet and exogenous ketones for ketones and autism. PruvIt's not making any medical claims, but know that if you have a certain topic that you're looking for, you can Google ketones and autism or ketones and ADHD, and you can get all that amazing information that you can use there. So Chris is asking, what's your favorite way to mix 3.0? Chris, I love it on the rocks, on ice. I love it super cold. I know other people like to blend it with some coconut milk or almond milk. So there's many different ways. You can actually put it in your coffee. Many people love the 3.0, which is the chocolate flavor in your coffee. So you can mix it hot, you can mix it cold, you can freeze it. We're even coming up with some recipes that you can actually bake with Keto OS. So the colder the better is generally what I recommend, and use the flavor that you like. And we'll talk about the particular versions at the end of our conversation today. So Tanya's saying, drinking Keto OS and following a low-carb diet, having trouble staying in ketosis. So Tanya, I'm glad you asked that question. Keto OS is the first therapeutic exogenous ketones. That means if you drink one single serving of Keto OS, we will put you into ketosis in less than 59 minutes. If you're a person who's a pretty fast adapter, which means your body goes through stuff pretty quickly, then I'm going to recommend that you actually have a little bit of fat or protein with the Keto OS while you're drinking it to slow down the absorption so you have a longer time in ketosis. There's been occasions where people have drank it really, really slowly, and I've talked with Ryan at the lab, or one of our formulators, Ryan Lowry, and he said, you know, sometimes if you drink it over an hour's time, you're not getting all the salts in at one time, so really try to drink it within 15 or 20 minutes so you can get all the benefits of that spike of ketones and be in ketosis as long as you would like to be. And there are many factors that vary the length that we're in ketosis, from our hydration, what we eat, our stress, our exercise, our sleep, all those things. But know that 99% of the time with one single serving, you can get into ketosis in less than an hour. Regina, yes, Regina's asking, I have a person who's having diarrhea. So the number one side effect that we get is gastric disturbance or GI disturbance, either on the constipation or diarrhea side. So if you're a person who's actually having either constipation or diarrhea, I'm going to recommend that you reduce your serving size until your bowels return to normal. So if you drink one serving, what happens is your body's really not ready for a bunch of ketones. It is our native fuel, but maybe it's not used it for a long period of time. So just go slow and steady. Start with maybe just a third of serving the first 3 or 4 days, then go up to a half a serving, 3/4 of a serving. Your body will tell you how much ketones it can handle. But again, if you're having diarrhea, have the Keto OS with a little bit of food. It will slow down the absorption, and simply reduce your serving, and then again, drink it over 15 to 20 minutes of time. Robin said, you skipped me 2 times. Robin, what is your question? So Denise is asking about sodium and high blood pressure. I will absolutely answer that. So why is there sodium in Keto OS? That's a pretty common question that we get. Ketones are very acidic. So in order to help balance them out, we actually add the sodium, which is a natural nutrient found in every single cell in our body, to help alkalize the acidity of the ketones. And ketones are an amazing mild diuretic. What that means is it helps pull water out of fat cells. It helps reduce inflammation. And when you're reducing inflammation or pulling water out of fat cells, you get a mild diuretic effect. So the sodium is put into Keto OS to help replenish the sodium that's lost through the natural diuretic or anti-inflammatory process, and to help alkalize the acidity of the ketones. If you're worried about your blood pressure, the first thing we do is make sure you're drinking Keto OS that is uncharged or caffeine-free. Again, just start with a smaller portion and make sure that you monitor your blood pressure. The first couple signs of dehydration, we know that 79% of Americans are dehydrated, can be headache, dizziness, fatigue, constipation, muscle cramps. So make sure that your body's not getting dehydrated, because ketones, again, work like an amazing mild diuretic. Make sure your body's really well hydrated, and that's not causing some of the symptoms that you're experiencing. So Heather's asking about the wounded warrior and PTSD. Heather, there's a lot of great information, lots of hearts and thumbs up on that. When we talk about ketones being signalers, we have a lot of brain neurotransmitters that are involved in our daily thought process, our sleep process, and just our day-to-day activity of how we respond to things. So if we know that ketones are signalers, and we're still studying this information is still coming through clinical trials here, know that they actually signal the brain, they actually help turn on healthy neurotransmitters, or they dampen excitatory neurotransmitters. What that means is people say, I have amazing focus, I'm sleeping much better. What is in that white powder doing that? Ketones dampen excitatory neurons. And again, know that we're not making medical claims, but you can Google ketones and PTSD or ketones and insomnia, and you can get more of that clinical data and research. Brittany's asking, can it help someone with fibromyalgia? Brittany, I'm going to make that a bigger, broader spectrum. So fibromyalgia generally is a person who has a lot of higher pain condition. So we can talk about with Lyme's or with rheumatoid arthritis or fibromyalgia or just acute inflammation or chronic inflammation or arthritis. We know that ketones, specifically beta-hydroxybutyrate, actually inhibits an inflammatory marker called NLRP3 inflammasome. For more information, you can go to PruvItNow.com/research and you can read the articles there, or you can simply Google BHB, which is beta-hydroxybutyrate, and ketones are BHB and inflammation. You'll find clinical articles that have been published over the past several years. So really current data and stuff that we've been studying for the last 4 or 5 years. So gosh, there's a lot of great information. People are also sharing great testimonies that they're personally doing. So if you're on this today and maybe you're focused on your question, go back and read some of the amazing testimonies that people are sharing what they've experienced in their own lives. So Stephanie says, how long should you stay in ketosis after drinking ketones? Stephanie, it's going to vary for everyone, anywhere from 2 to 6+ hours. The more fat adapted you are, and the slower processor you are, that means how your body kind of processes nutrients, the longer that you can actually stay in that state of ketosis. I know some people are already in a mild state of ketosis or on a ketogenic diet, and we know that adding ketones to it can actually elevate the level of blood ketones. Okay, Robin's asked, I've had seen 3 or 4 times someone's asking about erectile dysfunction. So let's just break it down what ketones do. Ketones increase oxygenation. So they increase more oxygen to the blood vessel, whether it's in your heart or in your fingers or in your toes or somewhere else. And we also know that they help turn on healthy neurotransmitters. So when we're talking about ED, we know that better oxygen is going to help better blood flow. And we know that ketones can actually stabilize moods. So it can help a couple of different ways with ED. Again, you can always Google that and get more clinical information. Ryan says Max has more ketones. So Ryan, what the deal is with Max, and we'll talk about this at the end, is that the 2.1 and 3.0, or the orange and chocolate, have beta-hydroxybutyrate. What formulators have done with Max is they've actually twisted and blended the ketone body, the same one that we find in 2.1 and 3.0, but they've blended it biochemically to make it almost twice as bioavailable as any other one. So Max is the strongest ketone supplement on the market that you can get. So Natasha's asking about ketones and Parkinson's. Natasha, there's a lot of great information about ketones in any movement disorder, whether it's ALS or Parkinson's, inattentive tremors, any type of movement disorder like that. There's amazing research. Dr. Mary Newport, one of our ambassadors, wrote a great book about Parkinson's and coconut oil, which you can pick up and read. Or again, Google ketones and Parkinson's, and you're going to see that we find that adding more oxygen to the blood, being more in ketosis, actually can stabilize any of those movement disorders, whether it's a tremors or Tourette's or Parkinson's. Again, just Google that information. And know that the information I'm sharing with you is not personal clinical data that I've done. It's the research that I found online and through books studying the ketones over the last decade and a half. So how do ketones affect blood sugar? So we know that Dr. Veach published a study sharing that if we have exogenous ketones, which is what keto OS is, if we have exogenous ketones in our body and we eat carbohydrates or consume carbohydrates, then our body will have less of a spike of insulin or less insulin's release. So we see that ketones, specifically exogenous ketones, can actually help balance our blood sugar spike even on a normal standard American diet, even eating normal ketones. That's why this is such an amazing tool to have during the holidays, because if you know you're going to go have grandma's pie or potatoes or stuffing and you don't want to have have all the benefits, side effects, or have the repercussions of eating too many carbohydrates, know that we found that when you put ketones in the body, you have more satiety, or you feel fuller faster. We know that also dampens the insulin spike after eating carbohydrates and continues to give you more energy. So there's a lot of amazing ways that you can use it pre-holiday to help balance out your blood sugar and help you feel better throughout the holidays. What is keto cream for? Keto cream is a great source of healthy saturated fat. So thanks for asking that, Reuben. Keto cream does not have any ketones in it. It is MCT powder, coconut powder, and Ceylon cinnamon. You can simply drink this, mix this with anything hot or cold. You can bake a cookie out of it. You can make a biscotti, but I love it in my coffee or tea. But you can also blend it with something cold like almond milk or flax milk or coconut milk. Make it super heart healthy, but it's a great way to get more healthy fats into your body pretty quickly that taste really great. We have a patent formula on the Ceylon cinnamon, and you can again Google Ceylon cinnamon and you can find the research saying how great it is for anti-inflammatory. It's good for our immune system. Cinnamon's been used for years as a digestive aid and to help balance out our blood sugar. So it's a great addition to using the Keto OS in your diet. It's a great way to start your morning off with a whole bunch of saturated fats. Maybe it's a great pick-me-up in the afternoon. And again, it's got an amazing flavor to it. So Aaron's asking about liver issues. Aaron, we're talking about exogenous ketones. We're talking about endogenous ketones. That's where your body actually makes the ketones in the liver. Then there is more study that we can look about doing endogenous ketones in the liver. But Keto OS is exogenous ketones. Your liver doesn't have to do anything with the 3.0 or the max. The little bit of MCT oil that we find in the keto cream and we find in the 2.1, your liver does have to process. But if you're worried about that, simply drink the 3.0 or the max. And your liver doesn't have to do anything. If you don't have a gallbladder, we don't need any gallbladder enzymes to process any of the Keto OS products. I know there's a lot of people out there, I want to say Americans, but now I know we've got people globally that suffer from having their gallbladder removed and are worried about healthy fats. Keto OS is already broken down, so your body doesn't have to do anything. You simply drink it. It gets absorbed into the bloodstream. You can check your blood within 20 minutes, and you're going to find an elevated level of blood ketones, which is called ketosis. Yes, Robert, Keto OS is great for pain and inflammation because ketones, specifically beta-hydroxybutyrate, which is found in Keto OS, stops an enzyme called NLRP3 inflammasome. So it actually stops the inflammation process from going forward in your body. So that's how it reduces inflammation. Amanda's saying, I have someone not feeling much with caffeine free. We'll try caffeine to help anything but energy. So Amanda, the energy that we get from the energy we get from ketones is different than the energy we get from caffeine. Caffeine will spike, and actually caffeine sometimes can actually raise our blood sugar just a little bit, and then it comes back down. So if you refer to any of those energy drinks, but know that ketones is a source that gets straight into the cell of the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell. The ketones get straight into the cell at a cellular level and gives us energy there. So it should be a more sustainable energy. It shouldn't be a big peak that you feel with using caffeine, but know that it's an amazing source to help keep your energy levels high. And what people say is they just don't realize how good they feel because they don't get that big spike. They just feel like they have better energy when they get off work. They have better energy when they wake up, when they get done doing a task. After they work out, they feel like they could actually do a little bit more because that's the energy source that we're really looking for. Susan's asked about Crohn's disease. Someone else asked about ulcerative colitis. So we know that we have a large amount of nerves in our colon, almost as many nerves as we have in our spinal cord. We know that ketones help turn on neurotransmitters and help feed the nerves. We also know that ketones reduce inflammation and provide more oxygen. So whatever bowel issue you're having, whether it's irritable bowel or Crohn's or ulcerative colitis, know that ketones can help that. It's a great fuel source that your body can absorb. It's already in the usable source. So your small intestine, large intestine don't have to do very much, and you can get all the benefits from ketones. But again, please make sure that you check with your healthcare provider if you have any significant healthcare concerns. Debbie's asking, is Keto OS safe for kids with ADHD? My answer is yes. My answer is womb to tomb, because we know babies are born in ketosis, and we know as we age, we actually lose the ability to uptake glucose, but we can still uptake ketones. And there's a lot of clinical data showing that when we use ketones in someone who has a hyperactive disorder, whether it's ADD, ADHD, again, this is clinical information, not any research that's PruvIt's done, but we know that ketones can help someone who's suffering from those when we put more healthy fats into the body. So simply Google ketones and ADHD or ketones and ADD, whichever you're looking for. And when starting with kids, a really common question I get, is how much do I start with my kids? I met with a lady last night who had 3 kids. We simply just suggested you take 1 serving, mix it with 12 ounces and give every child 4 ounces of that and see how they feel. So maybe start with just 1/3 of a serving or maybe just 1/4 of a serving with a kid and give them a good 15-20 minutes to drink it, and then let them know. If they say after 20 minutes, I'm done, I want to take a break, then know that their body's really intuitively telling them that's kind of where they need to start with ketones. That doesn't mean that they can't increase it another week or day later, but know that that's just kind of where they need to be. And know that you can mix Keto OS with anything that you like. So you can mix it with LaCroix, you can mix it with nut milk waters, you can mix it with cold water, Perrier, sparkling water, those type of things. I just don't suggest that you mix it with juice or with soda because we're trying to get all the benefits of healthy fats without having the addition of sugar. People ask if this affects medication. Cassandra, the answer is no. We haven't found in any clinical data that this affects any processing of any medications that people have been on. Ketones are a natural source of energy found in our body. Our body knows what to do with them. It's a normal process that our body makes. So even when you go to the doctor and they check your urine analysis, you're going to see ketones are on there because it's a normal byproduct of fat metabolism. So it shouldn't interfere with any medications that you're taking. If you're worried about blood pressure or tachycardia, then I always recommend that you use the caffeine-free because you know caffeine can affect things like blood pressure and tachycardia. Yes, and Ryan's sharing tons of articles. So Robin's saying once you mix to ketones, reduce time. Actually, Robin, I'm sorry, I missed that question there. So just thank you again for everyone who's joined today. I'm going to read a few more questions here. So if you're new today, I want you to put a 1 or answer 1. If you're brand new to PruvIt, you maybe haven't even tried Keto OS and a friend told you, hey, pop on this Ask a Specialist, get some of your questions out, find out what Keto OS is about and what all this talk of ketones is, give me a 1. 2, if you've been here before, you're a frequent follower, you find this as an educational tool to help share the conversation about ketones, then let us know. Mitch just asked me a question here I'm trying to read. How does same non-charged version help energy during the day, also help sleep? Mitch, love that question. So Mitch is saying, how can we talk about an energy source that gives us energy during the day, but yet we hear so many amazing testimonies that people drink the Keto OS at night and it helps them sleep better? We know that our body does what it's supposed to do. So what that means is when you ingest ketones, or just think of it like water, when our body takes in a substance, it uses what it needs and it excretes what it doesn't need. So during the day, we know that our cortisol levels higher, our body's metabolism is higher, we're running and going, the body will use the ketones as their fuel. But we know at night, our brains are to go to sleep, our cortisol level is supposed to decrease and then rise overnight. We know that our brains are supposed to shut down at night. So what the ketones do at night is they actually decrease that excitatory neuron. So Mitch, that's a great question. It can give you energy during the day and help you sleep better at night because it really helps your whole circadian rhythm. Terry Arthur is asking about trigeminal neuralgia. So Terry, I'm not going to get super specific on that, but there is some clinical data that trigeminal neuralgia is an inflammatory process. We know that ketones help with inflammation. There's also some information that it's viral. So I'll let you look that up, and if you can't find the information, let me know. Thank you for all of the kind comments. How much should you drink? Wait, Denise, love that question. So we recommend that 1 serving of ketones is therapeutic dosage. We know that 2 servings is an optimal serving. But we've also found that some of those crazy biohackers out there like myself or my husband want to kind of see what happens if I drink 3 or 4 servings of Keto OS. We know that it's water soluble. Your body simply excretes out what it doesn't need. So I love what Michael Rutherford said last night. Drink it strategically. If you know when your tired time is, like if you crash at 12 or 1 o'clock, or if you crash at 5 o'clock, if you know a person who has trouble going to bed, then really know it takes 20 or 30 minutes for those ketones to get into your system. Take it 20 or 30 minutes before that. I know Michael says he loves it for focus, so he will take it about 20 or 30 minutes before he's got to be spot on, before he gives a lecture, before he gives a call. I know we traveled a bunch this weekend. Michael said it was a great recovery for him after he traveled because it gave him that energy that he needed and gave him the mood and elevation that he needed. So I know that my tired time is that adrenal time, which is 1 to 4. That's the time that I really want to make sure I've got ketones in my body so I can finish out my day strong and then go to bed when I need to go to bed. Tina says, can it affect your menstrual cycles? So Tina, we know that there's absolutely no hormones in Keto OS. I get this question quite a bit. There are no hormones in Keto OS. There's straight beta hydroxybutyrate and a few other amino acids and some flavorings and things like that. but we know that our brain is our circuit breaker for a lot of our hormones. So if we know that the ketones can actually turn on signalers and can be a healthy fuel for our brain, it makes sense that our pituitary and hypothalamus, which stimulates a lot of our hormone activity, can make that to a healthier, more optimal state. So yes, you can find yourself finding some maybe changes in your cycle or things like that. It's just because your body's trying to get to the optimal state now that it has the optimal fuel that it needs. The same question about ketosis. Is ketosis the same, large or small? So Bethany, I love you asked that question. Everyone burns at a little bit different rate. So you know that everyone maybe has a little bit standard blood pressure. People maybe have a little bit standard body temperature. Maybe your body temperature is 98.6 and mine is 98.7. I found that the same to be true with ketones, is that everyone kind of has their steady state where they need to be. So answering your questions, any ketosis means you're in ketosis. So if you're turning pink and maybe not purple on the urine stick, you're in ketosis, and that's really what your goal is. You don't have to get to purple. If you're checking your blood ketones, anything over 0.5 millimoles means, hey, I'm in ketosis. I know I feel best at 1.8, but my husband feels best at 2.2. So that's where you can add in those additional extra ketones from Keto OS to get to that optimal state. But honestly, I like people to focus on how they feel. Like, how do you feel when you wake up? How do you feel throughout the day? Are you finding yourself crabby and tired? Or are you feeling yourself energized? That will really tell you how much or when to take the Keto OS. Just simply kind of identify those times in your day. I know the holidays can be super stressful for a lot of people. If you work retail, you could be working crazy hours. If you have a lot of family coming in town, you could be cooking and baking and cleaning. Use Keto OS as a natural source of fuel for your body, a healthier source of fuel. So as your family comes in, as you do those extra hours and you get off work, know that your body's going to recover much better from that, having an optimal fuel like ketones in your body. Yes, Greg, there's a lot of clinical data that ketones can help with migraine. Ketones deliver 38% more oxygen. So if you Google migraines and ketones, you're going to find pages of information that we've studied. There's textbooks written on the benefits of using ketones and or a ketogenic diet to help treat headache or migraines. Sorry, I was looking for a couple more questions here. I will... So Eddie's asking about heart conditions, and he has a stent. So make sure that you check with your healthcare provider, but know that it is safe if you have any type of heart conditions. Again, I always recommend the caffeine-free because we know caffeine can sometimes accelerate the blood pressure. If you're on blood pressure medication and maybe you're already on a diuretic, know that ketones have a mild diuretic effect. So make sure you drink plenty of water and that you routinely check your blood pressure, and that you actually have your doctor monitor your calcium, your magnesium, your sodium level, normal things that they check on a blood chemistry. But know that you can also take additional amino acids. We talked about ketones having an amazing diuretic effect and anti-inflammatory effect. We know that you can also lose healthy sodium, magnesium, calcium, and magnesium, so make sure that your body supplements those back in. And I always just recommend that you pick up a good electrolyte supplement that's been recommended by your naturopath, your doctor, or your pharmacist, or pick one up from their office. I saw a great question about gout. So gout is not caused from a high-fat diet. It's caused from a buildup of uric acid. There's some great information about ketones actually helping gout or helping the inflammatory process of gout. So you can Google that also. But there's a bit of misconception that gout's caused from too much fat. Even though ketones are not a fat, they're a byproduct of fat metabolism, there's been a little bit of confusion, but Keto OS is a great anti-inflammatory. It gets more oxygen to the tissue, so it can help with a situation where there's gout involved. Robin's asking, do ketones lose their potency within an hour? So Robin, I've asked the lab this. This is a great question. We normally recommend that you mix and drink what you can drink within an hour's time. We don't want you drinking it and then having your saliva sitting in it, putting it back in the refrigerator for hours for that to come back and drink. So only mix and drink what you can drink in about 30 minutes or an hour. But know that if you drink it too slow, so maybe you're drinking over 60 to 75 minutes, know that you're not getting that rush of ketones into your body. You might not get that elevated level of blood ketones that you're looking for. So again, try to drink it within 20 to 30 minutes, but don't mix up more than you can drink within an hour. So Blair, ketones reduce inflammation because they inhibit a inflammatory marker called NLRP3 inflammasome. So it actually inhibits a cascade of inflammation. There's many different cascades of inflammation that happen within our body, but specifically beta-hydroxybutyrate stops NLRP3 inflammasome. And Regina, I've seen 4 questions now about gallbladder. So if you're worried that you do not have a gallbladder, or you have an existing liver concern or issues, or you've had digestive issues, 3.0 or max are the best versions for you. There's a little bit of MCT in the keto cream, a little bit of MCT in the 2.1 that the gallbladder doesn't have to break down, but the liver has to break down. So know that if you don't have a gallbladder, you eat and drink stuff every single day. Sometimes it may affect your gut or not, but know that Keto S is already broken down into healthy ketone form that your body can absorb within, again, about 20 minutes and find yourself in that state of ketosis. So I'm going to... Alonzo, I wouldn't recommend mixing it the day before. I would recommend mix and drink what you can drink within an hour, because it doesn't take very long to mix it up. And I actually don't like when people keep drinking out of the same shaker bottle and then they put it in the fridge, because there's certain bacteria and stuff in your mouth that can interfere or culture why it's actually sitting in there. So mix and drink what you can drink within an hour. I like to have it mostly consumed within 25 or 30 minutes. Lisa, there's a great source of information about athletic performance. So if you go to PruvItNow.com/research, you're going to find information on neuroproductivity, cognition, how it helps with athletic performance. There's several books written out there from Dr. Finney and Dr. Volek about performance and ketones. For people who are just doing a normal workout of 45 minutes to 60 minutes, I recommend that you start the Keto S about 30 minutes before you do your workout. If you're doing a HIIT workout or a small workout that's only 8 to 12 minutes, then you want to take the ketones maybe 45 minutes before, because you want to have it peak while you're in that exercise situation. So if you're doing a normal hour workout, take it 30 minutes before. If you're just doing a super short workout, maybe 45 minutes before you work out. It's going to be a little bit individualized. Go by how you feel and how your body performs. So if you get done with your workout and you're like, gosh, I'm not even sore, I feel like I could have gone faster and stronger, no, that's a great way of reading how your body performs to that. Yes, and Chris Colt's got some great athletic information. He's a huge cyclist in our community doing some great research on how his body responds. And like he said, no question about it, there's actually, the top 2 finishers of Tour de France were in ketosis. Again, Dr. Finney's done a lot of work. Dr. Volek's done a lot of work about athletic performance and exogenous ketones. So you can look up that information. So Eddie's saying it's really bothering his stomach. So Eddie, there's really 2 major side effects that we can see from too many ketones too fast. The stomach ache is definitely one of them. So Eddie, you really want to reduce your serving, maybe just a third of a serving the first few days, not just one day, and make sure that it's not on an empty stomach. Put it with some fat, put it with some protein. You can take the 3.0 and mash it up with a little bit of peanut butter, and that's fat, and eat it that way, and drink water, or mix it with some coconut milk, flax milk, hemp milk, something that's a little more alkaline, and really just a little bit at a time. Listen to your body, and your body should adapt over time. Mix it with food and just go a little bit slower. So I want to thank everyone for being here today. I'm going to do my last 5 minutes where we actually go over each of the products that PruvIt has to offer. We're going to first start with the 2.1. I had a great question yesterday, like, what are the numbers all about? Well, PruvIt's always trying to make the very, very best version of ketone supplements. So the numbers actually correspond to the versions that they've made as we have reformulated the salts or proteins, the salts, making them a little bit stronger, making you're experiencing ketosis longer. They've actually just changed those numbers. So the numbers actually respond to a flavor also, but the 2.1, know that we start with a 1.0, 1.1, a 2.0, and now we've optimized the 2.1. So it is the orange dreamsicle flavor, has a little bit of MCT in it. There is a little bit of dairy. It's cow's milk used to plate the MCT to the beta hydroxybutyrate. So the orange does have a little bit of dairy in it, and it has the MCT. Know that some people are sensitive to MCT. We talked about people maybe having a liver issue, or their stomach's been used to burning carbs, doesn't know what to do with the fat. So after hearing millions of servings from the 2.1, the formulators changed it a little bit, and they changed the MCT to butyric acid or butyrate. That's what's normally found in grass-fed butter. It's a great source of energy, and it's a great anti-inflammatory. Both of them have the amazing ketone body, and that's why we're drinking Keto S. We are drinking this for the beta hydroxybutyrate. But the 3.0, which is the chocolate flavor, has also additional amino acids in it, and has an additional prebiotic called inulin or chicory root. Inulin has been around for centuries. It's been used to help balance blood sugar. It's a prebiotic. So what it does is turn on the healthy gut bacteria in your stomach. So if you're a person who's had stomach issues for decades or for years, I would actually recommend that you start with a 3.0 because it has the amazing prebiotic in there and additional amino acids. And if you're a person who loves chocolate and craves chocolate, this is a great way to help you get over your cravings for chocolate or satisfy your craving. So that's the 3.0 or chocolate. know that there is a line on here, I'm trying to show you, that can be gold or silver. The gold means charged, and charged means with caffeine. And the silver, the silver means uncharged or no caffeine. These little sachets are called on the go. So when you're ordering Keto OS and it says 30 OTGs or 15 OTGs, this is on the go. That's a great way to travel if you're worried about getting your ketones in the gym or mixing up when you're traveling. It's a great way to do it. So a can is a big jug, and these are called OTGs or on the go. The next product I want to talk about is Max. Max is our newest formulation. It is the strongest ketone body supplement on the market today. It's twice as bioavailable. It has the same ketone body, beta hydroxybutyrate, that the 2.1 and 3.0 has, but they've blended or twisted the BHB so it's a stronger. You get a better charge from the ketone body and a longer experience. And it's vegan certified. That's what all these little things talk about, our amazing certifications and the process that we've gone through to make this the outstanding supplement that it is. So the salts are kosher certified. They are gluten free. They are vegetarian free. So we see all those certifications. So Max is amazing Maui punch flavor. Doesn't have any MCT oil, doesn't have any butyrate, but that doesn't mean that you can't add some MCT oil in there or doesn't mean that you can't mix up the orange. And this is a favorite of mine, is doing a little bit of the 2.1 and a little bit of the Max and mixing that up. So you can mix and match any of the Keto OS supplements that you want, depending on kind of what you're craving, what you're wanting, what you're in the mood for. If you're in the mood for chocolate or mood for Maui punch, certainly you can mix that up and match them throughout the day. You can have a chocolate in the morning and an orange in the afternoon, or again, you can mix the 3.0, the chocolate, with coffee if you like to do that, or with the chai latte tea, whatever you'd like to do. So we've talked about the 3 servings. The last one, sorry about that. Sorry about that, you didn't lose me. The last one we're going to talk about is Keto Cream. Keto Cream does not have any, I don't know why I can't get that to show up. Keto Cream doesn't have any ketone bodies in it. It is a fabulous source of saturated fats. So in the morning, when you wake up, your body's been in a fasting state all day, which means your body's been sleeping, you've not been eating, and when you wake up and you put 15 grams or maybe just half a serving, if you put a lot of healthy fat into your body, it sets your body up for an amazing day. Helps your body really learn that we're going to burn fat for fuel. So you can put this in your coffee, you can put it in a milkshake, you can actually sprinkle it on foods if you want to put it on your applesauce or your chia pudding or whatever you'd like to do. Know that you can mix that, but that's a great way to get healthy fats into your body. We've discovered over the last several decades clinically that we've been deficient in fats. Ketones are a byproduct of fat metabolism. Keto Cream gives you all the amazing ingredients: MCT powder, coconut powder, and Ceylon cinnamon, which sets your body up for an amazing source of healthy fats throughout the day. And you can have it any time of the day. You can have it in the morning, you can have it in the afternoon, you can have it before you go to bed. Just really listen to your body. When your body is craving that Keto OS time, know that, man, I feel like I need some energy. That's the time that you want to drink the Keto OS. So I want to thank everybody for being here today. If you need more information or you're brand new to PruvIt, I know I saw a lot of ones when I asked for that, know that you can go to the video section on our Facebook page, which you're on right now, which is facebook.com/justpruvit. Go to the video section. Rob DeBoer's done several amazing videos on athletic performance on the Fitness Friday. If you're looking for recipes, Keto Mom has made a lot of amazing recipes through there. I think Natalie's also got some recipes on there. So if you're looking for more information on how to implement Keto OS into your lifestyle, the videos are a great source to learn. If there's a specific condition you're looking for that maybe we didn't mention today, maybe thyroid, I know we talked about a lot of that last week. When you go to the Facebook page, there's a little search bar in the upper right-hand corner. You can put in that search bar thyroid, or you can put in fibromyalgia, or you can put in depression. And we've had over 11 million experiences. Know that you're going to have a lot of information shared with you. People are having such amazing experiences, they want to share it with everybody. So there's thousands, I don't know, millions. There's thousands of testimonies there that you can read, and you can hear it from children or from elderly people, from pregnant people. You can get all the anecdotal evidence that you need, or maybe that you're searching for. I have an exciting announcement to make also. So if we did not get your question answered today, you can go to PruvItNow.com and go all the way to the bottom, and there's what's called a help center. But know that our amazing computer guy, Craig, actually has done us a huge, huge favor. Instead of having to scroll all the way to the bottom of every one of our marketing pages, there is now, see, a question mark with a circle. I did it backwards. So if you go to the top when you log into PruvIt Now or Experience Keto or Shop Keto, you're going to see this question mark circle right up in the right-hand corner. You can simply click on there and get to the Help Center. You don't have to scroll all the way to the bottom now. So I'm super excited to share that with you. What's that question mark? That is a Help Center. The first box on the Help Center is going to give you all the information about the product, why we have sodium in there, why it's not a ketone ester, what the difference is between that, what each label has, why there's milk in the 2.1 or dairy. And then the next tab over is health. It's going to tell you why it's safe for pregnancy, how it affects people with type 1 and type 2 diabetes. It tells you the difference between a diabetic type 1 and type 2 using it versus ketoacidosis. So it tells you all the amazing research that you need there. So if you're stuck on a question, you can first go to the search bar on facebook.com/justpruvit, or you can go to PruvItNow.com and click on the question mark up in the upper right-hand corner and find a lot of your helpful information there. If you still don't have your question answered, then know that you can send your question into support@PruvItHQ.com, and we will do our very best to help you along your way towards finding optimal health. Two more last announcements before I go. So again, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for all the hearts and the thumbs up. Don't miss out on the contest, which is a pop-up contest. You can go to Facebook and read all the details about that. So be looking for your popper in your next Keto OS order. I heard there's 6,000 poppers going out, so hopefully you're going to be the one that gets one of those poppers in there. And if you want to learn more about our community and more about what PruvIt has to offer, lifestyle, cooking classes, workout stuff, you will not want to miss our first ever Epic event. It is going to be in Dallas, Texas. It is January 27th through 29th. You can go to PruvItNow.com/epic, spelled with a K backwards. Well, it's not backwards, it's spelled with a K there for ketones. So know that you can go to PruvItNow.com/epic. You can get all the details there, the hotel information, get your tickets. I know our last event sold out, so I'm pretty sure this is going to sell out. We are just a few weeks away. So get your ticket now. There's a lot of amazing things that are going to be happening there. So I want to wish you a very, very happy week. Know that there's lots of amazing information. If you missed this today, or you know someone that missed our conversation, know that you can share this to them on a private messenger. You can send it on your Facebook page, and you can kind of tag what we talked about. We talked about inflammation. We talked about safe for babies and safe for pregnant women, safe for breastfeeding people. Know that we talked about the new help center where you can find it. So I want to wish you an amazing week, and I will see you here next Wednesday, 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, to help you answer your questions about ketones, ketosis, and Keto OS. Have a great day.